Good morning, everyone, and welcome for the Volta TST for March the 29th of 2022. As shared on the mailing list, this is going to be a shorter meeting than usual because of an internal conflict we have at ONF. So let's jump straight in. The first thing I wanted to give an update to is on FTTB. We have a set of tests that are now running and passing, and all the usual tests are currently passing with the new changes merged, but there are still a few tests that Hardik is working on and will be merged soon. Do you guys, Girish or Hardik, want to add anything about it?
Nothing from me.
Yeah, nothing from me either.
Okay. And is there any other question on FTTB at this point? I think the situation is pretty stable, so don't expect many questions, but just leaving the floor open in case there are some. Okay, seems like everyone is pretty happy with where FTTB is. So let's move to the next big topic of the day, which is LWC. We have set up a pipeline on the Scale server, which have been running a few times yesterday. You can find it at this link. Ignore the failures because that was me just getting the pipeline to run. It has nothing to do with the code. So as you can see, the last 5 runs that I scheduled have been successful. And when we take a look at the results, I will say we have mixed information there. So if you scroll down after all the installation and the test setup and all of that, the tests run and all of them pass. There are a few warnings which are really related to the library we are using to test that we'll need to update because one of the keywords we use has been deprecated, but it's not related to LWC again. And what we see is that this pipeline is scheduled to run with 512 ONUs, so the same size in which we run the pipeline with ONUs. What we see, of course, is that the first 3 steps have pretty much the same duration as they have with ONUs, because they are mostly Volta related. So we see that using the MIB template, all the news get activated very, very quickly in only 17 seconds. And then we have some differences with ONUs. I will say that overall the pipeline takes pretty much the same time, but I think there is a huge margin for gain with LWC, because what we see is that it takes a very long time to discover all the ports. And I believe this is due to the OF agent implementation in LWC, which I'm not really familiar with. But it takes almost 240 seconds for all the ports to show up in the controller. Once the ports show up though, everything is incredibly fast when compared to ONUs, because in only 30 seconds, we get to provision all the subscriber, push the flow, get them acknowledged in Volta, and get them acknowledged in LWC. So this part is way faster than it was with ONUs, and it seems to be working reliably. So I think the part we'll have to investigate is why do we have this gap, which seems to be a very long time. When we go and look into an ONUs job, can't seem to click. So if we take a random honest job with, sorry, this is the wrong one. By the way, I just noticed that there are some failures in the jobs which are most likely due to a cleanup issue after starting LWC. But if we go and check for the last successful run, we can see that the ports in ONOS get discovered in around 40 seconds. So, but then we take almost 300 seconds to get all the flows installed in Voltha. So what we'll need to figure out is how can we speed up in NWC this step, because if we can get to this same level in NWC, which I believe is absolutely possible, then we're looking at around a minute to provision 500 subscribers, which is incredibly fast compared to the 5 minutes that ONOS takes.
How much time did you say, Matteo? Theo?
So LWC uses around, sorry, I need to move my, okay. So LWC takes around 200 something seconds to discover the port.
Okay.
While ONOS takes around 40.
Okay.
So,
the port discovery. Okay.
Yeah, the port discovery. But then if you look, ONOS takes 240 seconds to push all the flows. I should have probably looked at the T job just for comparison, but it's a little faster, but not incredibly faster.
Right. So we can fine tune LWC to learn the ports fast as well. We have fine tuned with our Voltha actually. We will be able to make some fine tuning once we start working on this material.
Yeah. I believe it's not a big deal. It's probably something just in the way that OF agent is implemented in LWC. I don't think this is a blocker at all. What I wanted to focus on is that ONOS takes 155 seconds to do everything, but 130 of those are spent in the flows. While LWC takes 300 seconds total, but most of that is actually spent in discovering the ports. So once we speed this up, and that should be absolutely doable, because if ONOS can do it, I don't see why NWC can't. Then we're looking at probably 60 seconds to do everything,
right?
Which is almost twice as fast as ONOS. So I will say this is a great achievement from Radisys with the speed of this controller.
Thank you, Theo.
Thank you, Matteo.
Matteo, one question: how many subscribers?
512.
Okay.
So both of these numbers, the LWC1 and ONOS, are both with 512 subscribers.
Okay, good, thanks. Actually, there is a
ONOS is with 1024 because it's running with 2 OLTs, while LWC supports a single device, so it's running with 512.
Okay, I think so. The current LWC images, we've throttled the flow generation and flow pushing, but actually it should improve from the next image. We can remove the throttling there.
Oh, so you're saying that you're slowing down the flow creation?
Yes, we have throttled a bit due to what we had seen earlier. The devices were not able to handle the so many flows at once.
Mm-hmm.
So we had throttled it. So we can remove the throttle ones and we can check.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think that when we're talking about 500 subscriber for the DT workflow, we're talking about 2000 flows, and 2000 flow in 30 seconds is a very good result for me. Because actually, by the time we provision the subscribers to when the flows are acknowledged, it's 3 seconds. So I think that level of throttling is totally fine. I think that the part, and so these 26 seconds is something that can probably speed up as well. Just the test will provision the subscribers one by one, so it needs to establish a connection to LWC, send a post. It could be improved on the test side, but that's not really important. I think that the part that we should investigate first is why we get this big gap in discovering the ports.
Yeah, true. That will bring the numbers down, and we should have a good number there.
Yeah, because as I said, this number here, 3 seconds to push 4,000 flows, 2,000 flows, it's pretty impressive.
What is this value at almost for 500 subscribers, Theo?
I don't have that number yet. I can check. I can do a couple of runs and get the exact number. But if I remember correctly, it's not that much different than these 155 seconds. But I'll schedule some run and get the exact number. And I'm gonna write down a note about NWC, investigate why LWC takes so long to discover ports. Can everyone still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was just sudden silence, so I for a second I thought I was talking to myself. So apart from me, does anyone has any question on LWC and the runs that we're doing, and or any other kind of testing that you would like to see?
The results are pretty good for flow addition. I think maybe the point discovery is maybe there's some sequential thing that is happening, like processing one flow at a time in LWC instead of processing like any number of them coming in, because that's in ONOS, this is like with ONOS, it's a streaming connection. So I don't know if it's still a streaming connection, like in WF agent and Voltha, it used to be streaming. So with LWC and Voltha, I don't know if it's still streaming or not. It seems that it's maybe there's something that is being processing sequentially, like one at a time, instead of doing things like potentially parallel. Maybe that's why we are seeing that numbers there.
Yeah, so I don't exactly remember that part, but we basically use a gRPC stream to send the port information from Voltha to OF agent,
yeah,
and then it goes over the OpenFlow channel to ONOS.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I'm curious, guys, if you can comment how the port discovery is handled in LWC.
It's the same, Matteo, actually. We also use the same stream. Of course, we have to because code sends only on that stream. I believe there is some problem reading the indications, or we'll have to check once. We'll check and get back. I think so. It's pretty straightforward. It should have worked, but we'll check either way.
Yeah, I don't know how we are storing the ports, but it might just be some kind of a lock on a map or something like that.
Yes. One more thing. The ports, right? 269 seconds it took to discover all the ports, is it?
That's correct. So that's actually, it's discovering 2000 ports, but
Okay.
500 of them, 512 of them are enabled.
Okay, got it. We can check that.
Yeah. And if you want to run this same test, it should be pretty straightforward to run it locally. I can send out the instruction to do so, but they are basically defined in this pipeline, and I can share a link to that.
Thanks, Matteo. That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
And this is with BBSIM, is it, or physical ONTs?
Oh no, this is BBSIM. I would love to have 512 physical ONUs, but we don't.
Yeah.
So I'm adding a link to the pipeline in the Voltha TST document. But if you have any question, feel free to reach out. But what the pipeline is doing is basically uninstalling everything from the cluster. And then is just deploying Voltha using the Helm charts that you provide. This LWC Helm chart paths is simply where we stored those charts in the cluster. We are installing the default Voltha stack. There are a couple extra parameters where we are using ingresses instead of port forwarding, but if you do it locally, it doesn't really matter because the test use VoltCTL. So as long as your VoltCTL can talk to Voltha, that's totally fine. MBBSIM is absolutely the normal installation. It's just locked to version 4.6. That's pretty much it. We are loading the MIB templates, so the ONUs are coming very, very fast, and that's it. And then you can download the Voltha system test repo, and this is the command to run the test. Okay, is there any other question or comment?
So actually, we will be providing a one more image based on the test what you and Elia have performed with respect to Elia has mentioned that the flow difference between owners and LWC what LWC is generating that we have fixed it, and also one crash was reported, so even that is fixed. We'll be sharing that image tomorrow, Matthew, and we will look into the time taking consumed by LWC during the port discovery. That will provide a new image by the end of this week, maybe.
Okay, perfect. That will be great. And now that we have the pipeline set up, it will be very easy for us to test a new image.
Right, sure.
Okay, and I only had another question / comment that, as far as I understood, LWC is designed to handle one Voltha stack and one OLT, and that's totally fine. But I see that in your Helm chart examples, LWC is actually deployed as part of Voltha infra, which is where ONOS was deployed. But the difference is that ONOS was meant to manage multiple Voltha stacks, while LWC has kind of this one-on-one relation. So I wanted to know what is your feeling about moving LWC into the Voltha stack chart so it gets deployed with Voltha itself instead of being part of the infrastructure.
Sure. We will think on those lines as well. We will get back to you, Bunty, on that. Yeah, that will be
What I feel is, Shikhar, I think so. It has to be part of Volta stack because
yeah, right.
anyway, it cannot run as a cluster or anything. So
Right.
what I feel is it has to be part of Volta stack.
Perfect. And I don't think this is urgent. Once we publish the charts, it's very easy to put it in one or the other. So it was just one thing that I noticed while deploying it. Okay. We'll have to drop in 5 minutes, so I don't have anything else to add on LWC. Wanted to leave a little bit of time for others if there is any other comment, concern, or question about the topics discussed today.
Matteo, my only question is, again, like you just said on the LWC, does anyone else in the community have any question? Mahir, I know we're talking about trying to get this in a meaningful time frame for your needs, and I don't know who else will need it. Any thoughts, Mahir?
No questions. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have no questions currently.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, just curious. I know you guys are very busy, but do you have a chance to try it out for the Turk Telecom use case?
No, not yet.
Okay, we'll see. We'll try to set up a pipeline for the Turk Telecom use case as well. And now that we have the infrastructure in place, it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, that will be great. Thank you.
Okay, then thank you everyone for your time. And if there is nothing else, then we'll talk to you either on Slack or next week.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.